Hey everybody, Chief Meteorologist Brad Pedovich here. We've got to talk about this pattern next week because it looks sweet. But there's a lot of caveats in this. What I mean by that is not everything is written in stone, but one thing we look for when we start looking at long range, and if you watch me at all, you know, we look for pattern recognition. So we can't get into specifics of amounts right now or location, but what's for sure is we're going to see something very interesting happen called the cutoff low. If you look at the jet stream, and this is looking at the 500 millibar chart, so you're looking up there around 10 to 13,000 feet. The jet stream's up there. There's a southern branch here. We've got a piece of energy here and a piece of energy here. Now, when the jet streams work together, we can get big storms, but in this case, the jet stream is going to cut off a low, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Watch the jet stream coming down and syncing up with the southern branch system, and then watch what happens is the jet stream is so powerful up here, it actually pinches off an area of cold air and low pressure that gets detached from the main flow of the jet stream. So what happens in this kind of setup is this brings cold air with it. Cold air from the mid and upper levels works its way down to the surface. The freezing level's very close to the ground. So what happens in these unique situations with these upper lows, and they are notoriously hard to forecast, is that it can be warm north, east, west, and south, but right under that little bullseye, you could have cold enough air for precipitation to be in the form of snow. This is why you're seeing on some of the long-range temperature outlooks, you're seeing below average temperatures down here with above average up here. That's how that happens with cutoff lows. So watch this thing. This is a pretty intense system. I mean, this would be a highly extreme event. And it moves right over the southern Appalachians and then moves right up the spine of the mountains on Tuesday into Wednesday. So this whole time, this would bring not only natural snow, but northwest flow snow on the backside of it. So you're looking at a pretty good amount of snow. Now, the exact location of this and the precipitation, still very questionable. You're talking about 7 to 10 days out. In this case, about 6 to 7 days out. And then look what happens. It kind of gets cut off, and another cutoff low forms back to the west. You see it forming back there? Look at this low. This one kind of meanders through the middle of the week. Gosh, my mouse keeps getting stuck. Through the middle of the week, and then watch what happens as we go into the future. Here comes another cutoff low. Now this one not as strong, but you could see it moving in. Just an interesting setup. So there's going to be back-to-back possibilities, but this first one is a doozy because it brings some really cold air with it as it pushes in, and it really, this is at 850 millibars just to show you how cold the air mass is. That would be cold enough for snow way down deep in the south. So what does the Futurecast show? Looking at the European model, nothing to worry about for snow. If you're thinking about skiing this weekend, you're probably going to be skiing on mud. But early next week, starting on Monday, here comes our system. So again, it starts out as rain, but as it precipitates or rains, it's going to bring cold air down the surface. We're going to see a quick change over to snow. Now, what you don't see here is usually at the higher elevations, this will be snow. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a quicker changeover to snow in the North Carolina mountains, Virginia, West Virginia. But look at some of that heavy snow back in the Ohio Valley. I still think this is a little questionable on the location of this because there's still a lot of moving parts here. But I'm fairly confident we're going to see some natural snow in the mountains. It's just a matter of, you know, how much. Now, really Monday night into Tuesday, whereas this system cranks up. And you can see it meanders all the way into Wednesday morning. And even into Wednesday afternoon, we still got snow around. So this is why there's something to be excited for next week. Because at the very minimum, it's going to be cold enough to make snow. But this has the potential to bring some significant natural snow. And then we've got that second system, which is not as strong, but it still brings enough moisture that we get some snow in the North Carolina mountains into next weekend. So next weekend is looking ideal. So I'm going to show you real quickly just what some of the guidance is showing. And again, I'm not going to put specific numbers on here. I'm just going to show you the general trend. This looks overdone, I'll be honest with you. Through next Sunday, you could see some of these totals. You're approaching 9 to 12 inches up into West Virginia, about the same. So this is a pretty significant dumping of snow. But why should we be cautious? Well, some of the upper air data isn't ideal because of COVID. Obviously, we don't have as many planes flying. We've got like an 80% reduction in air traffic right now compared to this time last year. That data does go into the modeling, so it's going to have an influence. But this is such a big event, it's kind of rare that the models will miss it, but I think specifics would be kind of tough to nail down in the guidance. GFS is not nearly as gung-ho for areas in Ohio, but it too is showing confidence for snow in the mountains. So this is why the confidence for the higher elevation. Someone asked me today, are we going to see snow east of the mountains? Not likely. But in the mountains of North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, it's a pretty sure bet we're going to see snow. It's just a matter of how much. So for the first time this season, I can actually show you the first snow forecast of the season for the Southeast. And good news here is I have natural snow and man-made snow possible starting to, I would say really Monday night, Tuesday. Monday could start as rain, but Monday night into Tuesday. And if this were to go out to next weekend, I probably have a blue and a snowflake there all the way through next weekend. So potential for snowmaking and natural snow. And this could really kickstart the season because it'll be cold enough, long enough, and the natural snow that we could build the basis up for the ski resorts in the Southeast that would really set the table for the rest of the season. So get excited next week into next weekend. That first weekend in December is looking amazing right now. Keep your fingers crossed that this overperforms. We don't want it to go the other way, but either way you slice it, cold air is coming. The amount of snow, still a little questionable. We got time to watch it. I will likely post another update Friday night going into the weekend, and then next week we'll have updates as we see the cold and snow kind of unfold. Until then, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody, and as always, think snow.